Hi, I'm Rory Daniels, techUK's Programme Manager for Emerging Technologies, and in this episode of our Meet the Innovators series, I'm with Mark Bjornsgaard, CEO and founder of Deep Green. So Mark, first question, just what do you do?
So we're a data center company, so we host people's computers, but the key difference with us is that we recycle the heat that the computers generate. And that is incredibly important for us from a social good point of view, but it also makes us very competitive from a price point of view.
Great, so can you speak a little bit more about just what that involves?
Yeah, so data centers currently consume between 2 and 4% of our country's electricity supply. And in the future, that is projected to grow by something like 10x. So we're looking down the barrel of needing to spend 20–30% of our entire energy supply, electricity supply, on powering data centers. Now, in the energy transition, that is plainly not a sustainable thing to do. There are so many more people who, so many other sectors who want those electrons, whether that's the electrification of heat or transport or any other sectors. So the principle that we've developed is that we only use the electrons and then pass them through. So the idea is that you use the laws of thermodynamics to take the heat that the computers are generating, use the computers to do what they're meant to be doing in a data center, and then pass that heat on to somebody who can use it downstream. That's actually been something that's been relatively well understood for many years. But now we're at the stage where the economics and from a social and an environmental point of view, it makes sense to do it.
Sure, and you're the ones to do it?
Yeah, we've started. There are a number of other businesses on the continent who are starting to do it, and the wider industry is also starting to cotton on, which is great. If we can imagine a world where we might actually be using 20% of the country's electricity supply to power data centers, but we've got double bubble, if you like. We've used that energy again to then heat our houses or our offices, or use it for industrial processes, any number of other industries. So that's the key here. It's the circular nature of what we're doing, which is so important in the transition when electrons are scarce.
Fantastic. So second question, how do you interact with the wider UK innovation ecosystem, in particular SMEs?
Well, obviously they're our customers. So anyone who's using high performance compute or a data center is our potential customer. So we have, we touch a lot of different businesses up and down the country, whether that's pharmaceuticals or high performance manufacturing, financial services. So we are right at the kind of tip of the spear, if you like, of what people are talking about as the fourth industrial revolution, AI and machine learning. Our data centers are uniquely well suited for that job for density reasons. Most normal data centers can't cope with the intensity of heat that AI chips tend to generate. Because the way we recycle heat means we're very good at that. So yeah, the wider business ecosystem, we are the substrate which enables business. It's incredibly important to us that the government and those industries are supported. We know how good we are as a country around pharmaceuticals and around financial services, these sort of things. And we need to develop a public infrastructure or a data center infrastructure that is useful and usable for those businesses. One of the key issues the sector has is that a lot of the AI and machine learning workloads, a lot of the larger workloads, are migrating north to the Nordics and to the US because of power prices. Now, the way that we're set up means that we can broadly compete with those very, very cheap power prices from outside the country. So we're a way of UK government and UK PLC keeping high performance compute and keeping AI learning in this country. So we see ourselves as incredibly important in that ecosystem, and likewise, of course, those businesses are important to us.
Sure, and a huge benefit for the UK and the domestic market.
Massive benefit. I mean, when you think, if we deploy our technology to London, we would be providing somewhere in the region of 500 million to £1 billion worth of free heat every year to London.
Wow.
To deploying this technology. And the reality is there just aren't enough electrons to go around. There is not enough electricity for the data center industry to grow in this country how we need it to grow. You'd expect us, us to say it, but this really is the only way that, frankly, the world is going to scale its AI needs, is by reusing the heat. And we, as a business, are leading this charge. So, yeah, incredibly important that kind of government gets behind this. We've worked out that government UK PLC is spending £1.5 billion a year heating its own swimming pools. We could do all of that for free with probably a tenth of the amount of compute that government buys off Amazon, AWS and other cloud services. We've got fantastic cloud services that are born and grown in this country who pay UK tax. We pay UK tax, and we need government to have a big rethink, particularly after the outages that we've seen over the last week. Sovereign clouds, decentralizing clouds, and having your, as a government, having your infrastructure built in the way that we're building it. This is the future.
Absolutely, and I guess with government's focus on sustainability and climate, this is such a solution to many of the problems they face.
It really is. I mean, we've been developing the business for 8 years, and I think most entrepreneurs will tell you that their solution is a no-brainer. But when you literally have free heat, then it really is. It is, and in a world that's got that's rushing to decarbonise for very good reasons, and then has cost pressures. The logic of doing this is really unanswerable. So yeah, it's an incredibly exciting time, and government, obviously, it will take time for both governments and other industries to change their thinking. But because of the rapid growth of AI, there is just not enough capacity in the data center market to go around, which is obviously a tailwind for us. It means people are able to try new approaches like ours. They're faster to do that.
Sure. And so if I were to ask you if you had a vision for the UK's tech sector in 10 or 20 years ahead, just what would that look like in a nutshell?
Well, from our perspective, that would be heating a greater and greater percentage of the country's houses, offices and its industry using data center heat. Something like 27% of our entire energy budget for the country, in terms of including electricity and gas, is heating homes and offices. Well, for a start, we should start there. If we're going to need 20-30% of the country's electricity supply for data centers, which is going to enable the fourth industrial revolution, all the great things we want the robots to do for us, then let's heat our houses and offices for free. So our view would be that that's where we start. But the vision of it is possibly even bigger than that. Of course, exponential curves do what exponential curves do. It doesn't stop at 20%. The robot's going to need more and more of electricity. And as they need more and more, if we look at that as a positive, if we say, well, the more heat that's generated, the more we can decarbonize industry and do all sorts of other new crazy stuff, then it's actually, we can see this as a benefit.
Absolutely. I mean, as someone working in emerging tech and robotics and AI, I mean, it's so exciting what you're up to. Yeah. Final question from me. So just how do you benefit as a company from techUK membership?
Well, we were talking about it just before we started to talk on camera. We plug into district heating systems. District heating systems, these large centralized boilers where we can heat lots of homes and offices at the same time. techUK organised an event around that only 2 weeks ago, and we met one of our largest potential customers there. So it's not, from our perspective, techUK is not just about the kind of zeros and ones and the robots. So of course that's really important, but it's actually the greater ecosystem around that. That's kind of heating engineering. It's more the kind of hardware engineering as well. So, having the availability of that sort of insight. We've also responded to kind of government briefs, and we've shared as much insight as we can with techUK. Again, techUK promoting our industry and how we're doing is obviously really in our interest, particularly with the new government that we've got now, who need and want new ideas. So yeah, regulation, introduction to partners, new insights, and sharing what we're doing. It's incredibly important.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that we can help. Well, Mark, thank you for having us, and look forward to working with Deep Green in the years to come.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for having me.